Welcome gamers to another edition of Gamer Zone, where we play games, talk games, and share with you the latest in gaming with me, Yume Suryani. This week, we are focusing on simulation games, or also known as sim games, and explore the wide array of genres and style it has incorporated throughout the years. But first, let's head on to our weekly news. If you're familiar with Sarah is Missing, a mystery horror mobile game released back in 2016, then you're gonna love Simulacra. From Kaigan Games, a Malaysian-based game developer, Kaigan announced on its Twitter and released an official teaser trailer for the new and upcoming game Simulacra 3. It's the second sequel in the Simulacra game series, the first being released back in 2017 and the sequel released in 2019, and it follows the developer's first game release, Sarah is Missing, wherein the players are given a simulation of a victim's phone and try to solve the mystery behind the missing owner of the phone. It is classified as a horror found footage style game, and you're given the chance to solve the mystery and unfold the truth behind the mystery. However, no release date have been confirmed, but hopefully, it's coming out soon. It is reported that Amazon is set to begin production of the Fallout series sometimes in 2022. The series is being developed by people who worked on the Westworld series. The Fallout game started to garner attention when Fallout 3 was released back in 2008 when Bethesda Softworks bought the IP of the game from Interplay Entertainment using the engines from the Elder Scrolls series. They revamped Fallout into a first-person shooter instead of the turn battle system it previously used. The series will begin production later this year. We covered in our previous episode about upcoming games, Sons of the Forest. However, it will not be released in May, but instead it is pushed to October in conjunction with Halloween. The Forest is a survival horror game, and Sons of the Forest, the sequel, is also a survival horror game. Simulation video games are described as the supercategory of video game designed to closely simulate real-world activities and sometimes even real life. A simulation game sometimes copy the various activities that we do or we want to do in real life, but in the form of a game, such as for training. Even airplane pilots use simulation training before actually training to fly a real airplane, such as it is a simulation, or known in slang as sim games. There are no definite goals, and some even conducts the game as an open world game. These are our list for simulation games. If you ever dreamt of being a pilot but never had a chance to pursue it as a career, here's your chance. Microsoft Flight Simulator is the next generation of the most beloved simulation franchise. The game was released back in 2020 during the peak of the COVID-19 lockdown. It became an instant hit to a lot of people, and it was favored not only by gamers but also by people with wanderlust during the lockdowns. It was a chance to travel and fly without going out of their bedrooms. 2 Point Hospital is developed by 2 Point Studio and published by Sega for Linux, Mac, and PC, but was later ported for the PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch in 2020. A spiritual successor to Theme Hospital, a game released back in 1997. The players are tasked with constructing and operating an empire of hospitals in the fictional 2 Point County with the goal of curing passion of fictitious and comical ailments. Because according to its developers, visiting a hospital is oftentimes an unpleasant experience. Thus, the emphasis on humor to lighten the mood was set in the game. The game is designed and developed by some of the creators of the original Theme Hospital, including Mark Webley and Gary Carr. Going to space has always been a dream, and floating in zero gravity and moonwalking all over the space station, but this simulation game focuses on the space program, how to get into outer space, Kerbal Space Program is a spatial flight simulation video game developed by Mexican developer squad. In the game, players direct space programs staffed and crewed by green humanoid aliens known as Kerbals. The game features a realistic orbital physics engine, allowing for real-life orbital maneuvers such as Hohmann transfer orbits and orbital rendezvous. The first public version was released digitally on Squad's Kerbal Space Program storefront back in 2011 and joined Steam's Early Access program on March 2013. On the open road, driving your big old truck, listening to some country music while enjoying the scenery. That's what most people assume how a trucker goes about their work. Well, don't wonder no more. Get yourself this game and enjoy, especially if you enjoy driving and find it relaxing. And the best part, you'll be driving across Europe. The game itself is pretty open world as there are no competitiveness in it. You are not burdened with a career path. Players are free to create their own character and grow their own character and skills as they see fit. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. This is probably the most ridiculous game in the list, but it is the funniest and enjoyable game here. It is not a complete game or even a proper game. It is more of a proof of concept, making it a more epic game, proving that if the game is enjoyable enough, people do not care what you play as, and despite all the glitch and bugs, it's still enjoyable enough to play as a goat. I mean, the game lets you explore an open world as a goat. And more than that, you can also acquire a jetpack. That in itself is an interesting premise. With all the funny meta jokes, a great physics-powered slapstick humor, and no actual visible objective, it is bound to be a very enjoyable game. It's like playing at a playground but as a goat. That's how we would like to describe this game. The kings of simulation game, The Sims, and the latest one being The Sims 4. The Sims is basically a simulation game that simulates real life. Developed by Maxis, the franchise itself has sold nearly 200 million copies worldwide. A simulation of life, the game itself is called The Sims, the world is called the Sim World, even the occupant of the world is called Sims. There have also been a good amount of Sim World series in the series, mainly developed by the creator Will Wright, that include SimCity series, Spore, Sim Earth, Sim Farm, and a whole lot of others in the Sim series. However, on Gamerzone, we could only focus on one, that is The Sims, which I think most of us have played to simulate ourselves in the game, but only to end up creating a fictionalized version of ourselves. But be aware, gamers, please do not differentiate your real life and gaming life differently, as we do not want anyone to replicate what they do in the games into the real life. Game is for fun and entertainment, do not mix it up with real life. And that's it for our list this week. We'll be right back after this. Oxygen Not Included is a survival simulation video game developed and published by Clay Entertainment, released on Steam's Early Access in 2017, then being officially released in 2018. The game starts off with 3 colonies inside an asteroid with isolated pockets of breathable atmosphere, with no memory of how they got there. Player is tasked with managing and taking care of the colonies as they try to survive and create a sustainable space colony. The players will be given the task to monitor the colony's hunger, waste, oxygen level to make sure the colony survives. Each world is procedurally generated, which means every new gameplay will be a different experience. The world inside the asteroid is divided into various regions with different biomes, with different materials and atmospheres. We highly recommend this game if you are very keen on survival management types of games, and where you will eventually grow your colony and eventually reach the top of the asteroid and fly off into other planets. The game will have a release date from 15 February to 26 April 2022 on Steam. The turn-based tactical game is currently available on Steam Early Access, whereas you can only enjoy the first act in the campaign. So with that, enjoy this cinematic intro of the game.
I have brought you back to end this nightmare, Simulacra. I want you to go on a nightly quest. I want you to finish what you have begun. Kill King Arthur, or whatever he has become, after I took his dying vessel to Avalon.
And that's it, gamers. That's it for this week's update. Don't forget to tune in to our show again next week, same time, same place. Only on Gamer Zone. Eat, sleep, game, repeat. See ya!